From the future home of the next Margaritaville Resort, Fort Myers Beach, Florida, this is Beach Talk Radio. Great beach music, entertaining local talk. Let's get ready to rumble! Coming to you from the home of the fishingest bridge in all the world, this is Beach Talk Radio. This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Live from Peach Time Out in the heart of Times Square, you're listening to Beach Talk Radio with Kim and Ed Ryan.
And a good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode number 233. We are one quarter of the way to 1,000, and we are so happy to accept your applause. And also,
none was given.
And also, think of all of our local sponsors. Think of all of our local sponsors, including Royal Scoop Ice Cream, the official ice cream of Fort Myers Beach. As you can see, because she eats lots of ice cream. Also, Sun Palace Vacations, Fort Myers Beach Realty, Fort Myers Tiki Tours, Nervous Nellies, Mangaritas next door, State Insurance USA, La Ola Restaurant, Coastal Vacation Properties, Tuckaway Cafe, Beach Pottery, Shuckers, Farmers Market, which is opening up again in October, which is right around the corner, Island Carts FMB, JPS Vacation Rentals, and Peach Time House. And, you know, dear, what I wanted to do to start this show today is also thank those folks that buy us a cup of coffee.
Yep. I had a nice coffee this morning. When
the newsletter goes out and on Tuesday and Friday when the website works. By the way, my apologies for that not being up yet, but we're working on it. We have a team of tech experts.
Still not up?
That are working on it, and there's nothing more frustrating.
Just do the plug-in, point the thing at the DNS, and you're done.
I tried to point the thing. Didn't work out. So as soon as that gets back up, we're hoping today or tomorrow, then everything will be back. But there's nothing more frustrating than when you can't do anything. Like, I like to have control of things like this so that I can fix them if they break down. But not this thing. This thing is out of my control.
There's a lot of math in computers, so I think that's the first problem.
Yeah. Oh, I see. You're making a funny at me, which is okay. I can take it. We have a great
Where's
show.
Where's everybody coming in from? Let's say
Cincinnati, Cape Coral, Rico from Cape Coral, Steve from Missouri, Christy from, where is she from? Where do those guys go when they're not
all
here?
over the place.
We have this thing called Buy Us a Cup of Coffee, where after the newsletter goes out, if you like the newsletter, you can click on it and you can donate like $5. You know, it's really a kind of an interesting concept where you're, you know, pretending like you're buying a cup of coffee. I did. So I did. I totally stole it from Dave Jackson, who runs the School of Podcasting, and he sent it out in his newsletter, and I clicked on it, and, you know, he sends out a newsletter that I like to read, and, you know, it's when people put out content, you know, they expect free content, but when you put out good content and you appreciate it, sometimes you want to donate to it. So that's what he did. But last week was killer for us because I'm going to mention some names: Joseph Weber, Andrea Clemens, KM Kuba, Kona Kathy, Kate Wetzel, Diane Sterlacci, Cheryl Nicholson, all donated. Janine donated, no last name Janine. You know, because sometimes when your name is Janine, you only need one name. And a big ass thank you to Rose Larkin, who gave us $200.
I don't think you really need to announce the amount.
You know, that was nice to see. And Rose is very nice. And
she had some, and we were very appreciative, and she shared some kind words, and I appreciate that.
Oh, did you talk to her, or was it through text?
No, through text.
Because you don't really usually talk to, there's a wall around you when it comes to our listeners and followers and things. There's like a wall. You don't really like to communicate with people that follow the show.
I do like to communicate with people.
Not a lot.
I think people don't like to communicate with you sometimes.
That's probably true. All right, ladies and gentlemen, because our show is so action-packed, we're going to introduce our, I don't know if you are getting the clue of who we might have on. Did you want to say something first
No, I
before
thought
we roll down the red carpet?
No, all right.
What did you want to talk about?
No.
Okay, we'll do it after.
Now. Yeah.
What was
were we
the
gonna talk
topic? You got to
about?
tease the
I
topic.
can't remember.
We're going to talk about the plaque. We're going to talk about the homeless. We're going to talk about the sign that fell down.
And the plaque.
We got Brendan Leslie coming on at 10 o'clock. We've got Jack coming on from SCCF to talk about turtles and ants and coyotes. Did you know there were coyotes?
No, I think he's specifically the turtle person.
Yeah, but there's coyotes over there.
Yeah, there's a lot of them
that go after the turtles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they don't get enough shit with the lights, they got to deal with coyotes and fire ants. I mean, it's a rough life being a turtle.
It's a hard knock life.
Ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, he is Mr. Lion. He is Mr. Shrimp Festival. He is Mr. Great Accent. Here he is, Bernard McGarvey. The crowd is going absolutely nutso for you, Bernard.
Yeah, of course.
It's crazy.
Is his mic on?
His mic is on.
Okay.
Bernard, welcome to the show. You've been studying your notes and everything. And
Oh, I'm a very studious person.
now, for those of our audience that aren't familiar with why we're wearing what we're wearing, can you explain to them what we have here?
So what we're wearing is our shrimp hat, which we had for last year's Shrimp Festival. And so we kind of use these as a kind of like an advertising tool.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually very funny. We got them just to have them. And people started, when the festival was on, people started coming to me and saying, can I buy one?
Yeah.
Can I buy one?
I said the same thing.
So we had more than we needed.
Mm-hmm.
So we started selling them. We sold them-
$100?
No, not $100. $20.
$20.
And-
$20.
and
That's
you
a
probably-
good deal.
Yeah, and we sold them all.
How many did you have? Like
We
100?
had we had about probably around 30 to 50.
There's this
It
little
wasn't
thing.
33.
There's this little thing they have, these two right here, with the words 33, right?
33.
Yeah.
Now, before you get to your notes, Bernard, I think next year you should have more of these hats. Maybe sell a sponsorship
you're
on
brilliant.
the side.
just let
That is certainly on my radar screen.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
when you got a hot seller like this, you just want to grab onto it until you drive the people crazy with it.
These
Yeah.
might rival the T-shirts. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
honestly,
And you get
I
more
know I
for
won't
'em.
rival them because the T-shirts are
collector's
specific to
items.
the Shrimp Festival itself. But it was just that, I mean, I wasn't expecting people to stop and say, could I buy them? What we wanted them for was just if somebody was wearing one of these hats,
Right. You knew they were.
you knew they were
Mhm.
associated with the Shrimp Festival. So if you had a question, you could go and ask them.
Yeah.
That was kind of the idea originally.
Right.
And like I said, we had more than we needed. And then people started asking, could they buy them? And we started selling them.
Now, Bernard,
That's awesome.
before you get to the reason that you're here, we always do something a little different than the last time you're here. We have this little speed round of questions that we're going to ask you. Very
Okay.
personal question.
Before you do that,
No, I run
No,
the show,
let him
Bernard.
go. Let him.
can I can you indulge me for 1 second
Yes.
before you do that?
Yes.
So last Tuesday, the 23rd, was my 36th wedding anniversary.
Oh, that's
So-
very nice. 36 years.
Yes, I just want to give a big shout out to my good wife, Ursula. She's at home at the moment. So if she's looking at this, happy to be 36 years married.
Oh,
Are you
man,
getting- are you getting
Bernard,
emotional?
You're getting me verklempt.
Are you getting
over
emotional,
here.
Bernard?
Yes.
Cut that out.
A little
Stop
bit.
that stuff.
36 years.
You're gonna make me cry.
Congratulations.
Just seems
You
like
guys.
yesterday.
Ah,
36 years.
36 years, yeah.
wow.
All right. So here
Yeah.
we go, Bernard.
Okay.
That crosses one question off my list. So we're
Okay.
not going to
That's
ask you how long you've been married. Are you a dog or a cat person?
Dog.
Favorite TV show growing up?
That's a hard one because growing up in Ireland, we only had one TV station, and a lot of the good shows were American imports like Hawaii Five-0
Hawaii
All right,
Five-0. That's a
we'll
good
go
one.
with that one.
and the Virginian.
That's good enough.
So the Virginian was the Virginian actually was my father's favorite TV show.
Okay, this is called the speed round, Bernard. You answer the question. There's no explanation needed.
Well, I
All
can't
right.
help that.
Your
Yeah.
favorite color?
Blue.
What are the three most interesting people you know cannot be your
Why
wife?
do you do 3? It's too many.
The most interesting?
Yeah.
Oh,
Pick one.
let me
That's
see.
fine.
Who am I thinking about now? Well, I've always admired Albert Einstein.
All right.
Okay.
I-
You're talking about dead people or alive people?
I can be
I
either.
said the three most interesting people you know, but I didn't really know you were that old.
That's not
Oh,
true.
no, you mean-
we
I mean,
allow people.
okay, I
no,
missed-
we
I missed-
allow people to do
I know who he is.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
that I know him
I
personally.
see,
I didn't quite get that.
Name one person that's interesting that you know can't be your wife, can't be in your family. Come on.
Well, we have a neighbor upstairs, Barry Moore, who's a lawyer. He was a prosecutor.
Yeah.
And he always has some very interesting stories
All right.
about
If you had
cases.
30, now it can't be Einstein. You can't answer this question with Albert Einstein. You know, he's quite a familiar answer to this speed round of questions, by the way. If you had 30 minutes and a tape recorder, who would you interview?
Who would I interview? Ooh, I'm not prepared for that. I have to think about that.
No, you cannot pass. There's no phone a friend here.
Who would
Bernard,
I like,
answer the question.
Who would I like to interview?
Yeah.
Could it be a historical figure?
Yeah.
Anybody you
Yep.
want.
Julius Caesar.
Julius Caesar.
He would be an
What
interesting-
TV show was he on? If
He is
want-
the reason
Yeah.
that we have a Western civilization.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. At least part of the reason.
Yeah.
You know, when he turned the
Okay. We get it. We
Roman
can Google,
Empire.
we could Google it, Bernard. You don't need to do the history of Julius Caesar.
Julius.
If you want $1 million, if you want $1 million, what would
This
you do with it?
ding-dong.
You can't give it to the Lions.
What would I do with it?
Yeah.
Well,
I got to get a longer clock, by the way.
I'd spread it around a little bit. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But I'd spread it around.
What would you
a little
buy
bit.
yourself with $1 million?
You know,
A new hat, new shrimp hat.
I
There's
have,
nothing you
I have
really-
everything I need.
Yep.
All right. Last question. You didn't ask any, by the way. You were very
Well, that's because you're
unparticipatory.
running.
Most
ramshot
embarrassing
over.
moment of your life was?
Most embarrassing moment of my life.
Besides coming on this show.
Jeez. I
You've never had one? Did anyone
Well-
ever pull your pants down in gym class or stick pencils up your nose or?
I remember one time in college, one of our teachers was a lady, and it was my birthday. So the guys in the class, they decided to give me the bumps. Are you familiar with that idea?
No.
They just grab you at both ends and they just lift you up and down.
Like a wedgie. They gave you a wedgie.
No, they grab your arms and grab your legs.
Yeah.
And they lift you up and down, up and down. And the idea is they're supposed to let you bump slightly off the ground.
Like try to
Wow.
scare
So
you.
they call it the bumps. They call
That
it the bumps.
sounds
That
rough.
sounds like
But anyway,
hazing.
what happened was, as it turned out, the jeans I was wearing that day was a bit loose. And
Oh,
as they were doing this, my jeans started to come down and down. So by the time they were finished,
Oh.
my jeans were at my ankles.
Did you have
Everybody's
underwear
got a
on?
I did, fortunately.
Were they Fruit of the Loom or briefs? Boxers
I
or
don't
briefs?
remember what was popular in Ireland. Whatever was
Gotcha.
popular in Ireland at the time.
Yeah. What was pop? Hey, what's going on with the Finnish prime minister, by the way? That's getting a little crazy over there. Have you been keeping
I
up
mean, because of our dancing?
the dancing and the naked kissing at her house? And I mean, it's gotten crazy over there. What's going?
I'm not that familiar with it, except that all I heard was the dancing and the fact that all the well, not all, but Finnish women are now making dancing videos in
You
solidarity
see,
with
that
her.
sounds kind of fun. They're having fun. Why do people got to criticize her for dancing? I mean, so what? She's dancing with a man that's not her husband, right?
Here's my take.
Yeah.
So I've always thought that there are far too many people in the world.
Taught or thought?
no.
Thought.
Okay. When you said taught, I thought you were a
Thought.
teacher for a
I've
second.
always thought there are far too many people in the world that want to tell everybody else how to live their lives.
Right.
That's just me.
Yeah.
I may be right, I may be wrong, but that's what I've
You
always
should
thought.
put that on a T-shirt or something.
That's
that
a
was
good
very
one.
philosophical.
You know?
All right, so why the hell are you here, Bernard? Last time I saw you, we were hanging out at the Chamber of Commerce meeting down at Doc Ford's and
Right.
and fist bumping with Byron Donalds, our good friend, and you poo-pooed that like
Huh?
you weren't.
I didn't fist bump him.
Oh, I see.
You did that.
You know, I have to say something about the Byron Donalds meeting. That was
So much for you wanting to move on.
that was a little bit. You never know if a politician is going to remember who you are, or recognize. She's been on the show 3 times. And he saw me and he smiled, but that's a
2.
politician. And then we shook hands, and then there was that awkward hug. Like he initiated the bro hug.
Mhm.
Like I don't ever bro hug with anybody because I think you're in my space at that point. But he kind of was like, okay, we know each other, so I'm going to bro hug you. Do you bro hug people?
Not in general, no.
No. So what do you think of that? What do you make of the bro hug? Nothing.
It's
Is
just
that
a
Somebody wants to do it.
greeting.
If
No.
somebody wants to do it, fire away.
But do you
Yeah,
think
but
that means that he
Do you
remembers
hear what he
me?
just said?
Yeah.
He
If
might.
people want to
Yeah.
live their
He-
lives, let them
Hey,
live their
Karen
lives.
Woodson was there. He didn't bro hug her. Why wouldn't he
Well,
bro
I
hug her?
don't.
Well, we know you're special. I mean,
Okay,
let's get
well,
that out
thank
of the
you.
way
That's for
straight
sure.
away.
Now
Let's
that-
get
now
that out of the way
that-
straight
there we
away.
go.
All right. Now
But-
that everything's clear.
But
yeah,
why you're here
Yeah.
is to
Shrimp
talk
Festival.
about,
Shrimp Festival.
all right,
So
which is coming up
Yeah. So next year's Shrimp Festival 2023 is going to be on the 11th and 12th, Saturday and Sunday, 11th and 12th of March.
March 11th and 12th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put it on your calendars, people.
I know. I wish they
before-
would do it during spring break, but go ahead.
So we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
So first of all, I want to go back to this year's, back in last March. As we all know, we had a little run-in with Mother Nature.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
After 2 years off, the
Yes.
last thing you
Yeah.
needed was rain.
Yeah. And what was interesting was, of course, you know that there's going to be a problem with the weather several days out. Right. So, I was talking to Ted Clifton, and Ted was involved with this before he moved out. And he was telling me that they chose that particular weekend because they had done research to say that on average over a period of time, that weekend was the one that had the least rainfall.
Oh, brother. That put the whammy right on it right
So, you
there.
know,
Total jinx.
It's just, I mean, it's just, I want to say the luck of the Irish, but we're supposed to be far luckier than that. But the thing is, while it messed up the Saturday, people really came out on the Sunday. So it actually ended up being pretty good.
Yeah.
So we're not complaining.
No, people wanted to go to the Shrimp Festival.
Yeah.
If they could have stood in the rain,
Right.
it was more than drizzle.
Oh
It was
my
crazy.
In fact,
gosh, yeah.
one of the vendors, she had
The
a
wind
big
was
tent,
crazy.
and
Yeah.
the wind damaged hers so badly she couldn't compress it again. Right.
Wow.
So she left it there, and we got the guys at the Parks and Recreation guys. They actually cut it up and took it away, which was great.
Wow.
But she couldn't physically scrunch it to put back in her van.
Yeah.
So it was bad. But like I said, from our perspective, at the end of the day, I talked to, as the vendors were leaving on the Sunday, I was stopping them as best I could and talk to them, and a lot of them were very, very upbeat.
For
talking
sure.
about coming back
It was
next
so
year.
nice to be
and
back.
So they didn't, the weather was
It's
but
an unfortunate one-off.
one vendor said to me, he said, this is just the life we lead.
Yeah.
Right.
This is
right.
what we do.
You never know.
And the life we lead. But I did want to make a shout out to all the people who helped us make it a success. So, we can talk about the police who do the parade, yourselves who do the coverage for us, the fire department people, all the volunteers that helped us. It is a community event, and we depend on the community to help us. And so the community turns up, which is good. So I just wanted to make sure we didn't, before we talk about next year, I didn't want to lose the fact that we really appreciate the help we get.
So are we gonna now? I finally got to see the shrimp eating contest last year, which was insane. The way they shovel shrimp.
Oh yeah,
and the same guy won again from the fire department, right?
Yes.
He's like the 3-time reigning champion.
Yeah,
now.
he's the target to beat.
Yeah. So you'll be having that again?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. In fact, I'll be helping to organize that one. That's what I'll be working on this year.
Anything new or different that you want to talk about for March?
Before I get to that,
okay.
You're
going to do things
I'm
your way.
using my script.
I know,
okay.
but let me indulge me for a minute, because our next guest, not moving on, just showed up and has been looking at us like this was such
He's
a
looking
mistake
at us like he
with
forgot
the
his hat or
hats.
something.
Yes.
Oh. Well, you can have my hat if you want.
He looks very scared now.
Well, you don't
Come
have
on.
to. You don't have to wear the hat, Jack.
We'll take
don't worry
them
about
off
it.
when you get up here.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You're
He's
okay.
like,
You're
how
safe.
do I get out of this mess here?
You're safe. So the other thing I want to talk about is building on from that is in terms of the fruits of all our labors, is that we had a very good donations year this year. So we gave just under 51K out in donations.
Sweet.
Wow.
So some of the programs we supported is the Lee County Nurses Vision Program, Captains for Clean Water. We bought 10 bricks for the Arches Project.
Nice.
Otsego Bay.
Nice.
We did the First Baptist and Chapel by the Sea Food Pantries.
Nice.
The Ronald McDonald House. Friends of Barbara Gosselanos. We've done the Scouts and the Little League and several others. We also did 10 student scholarships.
Do you? We didn't get a check, but that's okay. Maybe next year.
We're not a charity.
Oh, kind of. Or
you get our best wishes and goodwill.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is worth far more than any check.
So Bernard,
priceless.
do you take the 51,000 and split it evenly, or somebody did different percentages?
We have a what we call our kind of like our donations committee, if you like, that we look at needs and stuff like that, and we just
like,
there's nothing scientific about it.
I would think Captains for Clean Water probably doesn't need a donation from the Shrimp Festival because they get so much big money.
Yeah, but it's consistent with our philosophy of supporting the environment.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's, I mean, water affects Fort Myers Beach probably more than a lot of places, right?
Yeah.
So that's how we would justify.
I would think that like the Little League probably could use a little more because sometimes people say they're going to donate to the Little League, and
we supported two.
Yeah,
we actually supported two of their teams.
That's an inside joke.
We supported two of their teams.
Oh, two teams.
Two teams.
Oh, did they have shirts with Lions Club on it and the whole Shrimp Festival?
I don't know.
on it?
I mean, it just it costs so much to put a team out there.
Yeah.
And so we covered
because they got to buy
teams.
nice uniforms and chewing tobacco and all that stuff that the kids do now. Beer for the kids after the games.
Guys.
So anyway, the main thing I'm here for then is just to let people know that we're starting the planning process for next year's event.
Okay.
And it's like I said, it's on the 11th and 12th with setup on the 10th, and that we're now open for people to submit vendor applications.
Oh wow,
Okay.
nice and early this year.
Well, we always try to do it around this time of the year. In fact, I've already got about 7 vendors have already applied.
What's the cost for a
Wow.
vendor?
So the standard vendor is $300, and the hot food vendor per space, and the hot food vendor is $630.
Yeah, 630.
And the
Can't
food,
you make it 633?
no,
Because
It
it'll
looked like it was
confuse
being
people.
fixed. But it was interesting last year. This year,
fixed.
we had a couple of new food vendors, hot food vendors, and I was going around asking them how they were doing, and one of them said to me, he said, "God, this is amazing." He said, "I'm out of food, or I'm
Wow.
about to run out of food, and this is only like about 2:00 or 1:00 on Sunday."
Wow.
So he said, if I come back here next year, if I can get back here, I'll be bringing far more food. So I thought that was a good.
Yeah.
That was a good, indication of how things were going.
What about the parade? The parade's on. Can people get in touch with you about the parade?
The parade,
the
the expo,
5K,
the shrimp eating, 5K, Queen's pageant,
the axe
shrimp
throwing,
boil, with, of course, the t-shirts and stuff.
axe throwing.
What's
No
that?
axe
No axe
throwing.
throwing. No,
It's a big deal now.
no axe throwing.
You know what you should do, Bernard? You should do like a pickleball contest somewhere. I mean, a tournament, a pickleball tournament. You'd make $1 million. These people are in love with pickleball. My idea is, and I'm going to keep pushing
Here
this
we go.
at Lee County, that volleyball court over there should be like 13, 14, 15 pickleball courts. It'd be crowded all the time with these old people that like pickleball.
It's not, it's any age.
I think the older people like pickleball because they don't have to move much. They're in kind of position, especially in the
it's very
doubles.
deceptive. I played a bit of pickleball,
Right.
and I know quite a few people who have gotten shoulder injuries and stuff like that.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They have to triage the pickleball players
because
now.
the movement with the bat and the ball is hard plastic.
Yeah. So sometimes you
when
get hit
make-
with the ball.
When you make contact with the ball, whatever it does, whatever.
You see, that's
There's the
that's
pushback
because
on
the
your
older
shoulder.
people can't take something like that.
He can't do it
Right.
anyways. He needs help getting his shirt off now
Oh,
because
man, I
his
did
shoulder.
something to my shoulder, Bernard. I can hardly lift it in the air. It's just a whole
Oh, you probably
nightmare.
injured yourself.
When I wake up in the morning, I
He doesn't
feel like
stretch.
some fat person was sleeping on me. I mean, it's
Oh.
just so.
He doesn't
It could be
stretch.
it could be
and
information.
he doesn't drink enough water.
What kind of information?
Just information. I mean, I had a problem like that.
Oh,
a while back.
inflammation. I thought you said
Inflammation, yeah.
information.
It was inflammation, and they.
So a lot of the times you drop the L's and the T's. Is that just part of being from Australia?
It's
I don't
not-
know. It's just how I talk.
I see.
You know.
I say it with love.
Don't be
you
telling me how to talk.
I'm not. I'm so sorry.
Don't be
Oh,
pushing your
anything
opinions
else,
on
Bernard?
me.
How was your breakfast here at Pete's?
Good.
You always come
You want a
early
little bit
for
of
breakfast.
diversion, just something different.
Yeah.
So I was driving down this morning, and of course,
Okay.
I went under the new
Walkover?
Walkover.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a little bit morbid. But,
Uh-oh.
Oh.
So, and this,
We
it's just
She likes more, but
it's just
I
what
don't.
came into my head.
Yeah.
Many years ago, when I was working, I was in charge of creating some safety training.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so one of the things you do for safety training is you're trying to teach people why accidents happen. Right?
Yeah.
And one way you do it is you go back and you look at old accidents. So you can say, well, here's the
Right.
you say,
Right.
here's the situation and here's what happened. And and the idea being like, how do we make sure that wouldn't happen here?
That's how we make the show better. We go back and
Yeah.
we watch how horrible
Right.
she interviewed guests, and we just
Exactly.
improve upon that.
So it made me think back of one of the examples I came up with. I found out at the time was there was an accident in a hotel in Kansas City back around, I think it was around 1960, 61, where it was a new hotel, and they had this new innovative design for two walkways, one on top of the other, to join two sides of the
Oh
thing.
boy, I don't like where this is going.
Am I gonna have to mute him?
And it fell down.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I
it was-
wonder
it
if
was-
that same person that
Did
designed
someone
that
put
designed
that-
the sign
and
at
I'm
the
not
base
bring-
of the
I'm not
bridge.
bringing it up to cast aspersions, and this obviously,
No,
Right.
it's just
it
brought
made me
back a
think about
memory.
it brought back a memory
Could be a welding
because
issue.
that got me into thinking about why do people make mistakes when they
Because they're not paying attention sometimes, and if they're
or they
if they're, can I get a word in edgewise? If they've had, if they've had too many drinks, I think.
well sometimes people make mistakes because it's something new to them, right?
I don't think people
Something
should
new,
drink on the job,
right?
dear.
What do you mean? Well, yeah.
Something new, but the other time people make mistakes is when they're too familiar with something because they
Oh.
think it is.
Cut corners.
I did an exercise one time, again, part of my
Stop trying
work,
to-
and what I found was that for like slips, trips, and falls, those types of small accidents,
Mhm.
a large proportion of those were situations where the person was doing something that they had done a million times.
Yeah.
It was road, but something subtle was different this time, and they approached it as if it was normal,
Mhm.
and then they had an accident.
I see.
You know, so sometimes something that you're very familiar with,
Right.
you have to be just as careful.
Well, Bernard, I watched them put that walkover bridge in. It's solid as a rock, man.
I don't
It's
think
totally
he's
solid.
saying-
I was just
want you to know
I was just
that.
saying it
He's
brought a
not
memory.
I
even
know.
It was just
saying
about
that
it
the
just brought a
incident
memory.
then
No, it just
had
brought a-
anything to do with the structure.
brought
It
a
had to do
memory.
with
So
the person.
let me ask, now that you brought it up, let me ask you
Oh,
a question.
brother.
How do you install
Oh,
a sign
no.
and then like a week later it falls over? I mean, because you've done it so many times, you cut corners. I mean, what's the explanation for that?
I don't know. I presume somebody will have to go in and do an investigation.
Yes, I think
I
an
would assume.
investigation should be done. You're
Yeah.
right.
And the thing that people have to understand too is when you have a complicated, and I'm not saying the sign is a complicated situation, but in other cases where situations are very complicated,
Yeah.
it may be, but it may not be.
Right.
Is there's no such thing as a single cause.
I see.
There are always multiple causes, and that's why, in
There's
fact,
a confluence of causes.
people don't even talk about causes anymore. They talk about causal factors.
You know, Chad brings up a good point.
Huh.
People know when the shrimp festival is. They should start booking rooms now, because if you wait until
sure, yeah,
December or January, you're going to get screwed out of a room.
yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
and so, good point, Chad.
Yeah. No,
Because
that is a good
Chad
point.
always comes down. He brings his kids down. He brings his family down. They come to the show. They steal all the merch without paying for it, and then go back to the hotel room. I'm just kidding, Chad. Am I kidding? And so, get a room now, or look at the rates. You know, people know on the beach too when the shrimp festival is going to be. So I'm guessing the rates are probably not going to be, super friendly right now. But you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. So check it out now. If you're going to stay on the beach.
Yeah, I've
during
been
Shrimp
lucky
Festival.
actually. We have a few vacations coming up, and
Where are you going to go?
Well, we're going to the Dominican Republic in
Nice.
September.
I love it there.
I'm doing my annual Ireland trip in October,
Oh.
My second favorite
and then
island.
we're going to Costa Rica for 2 weeks in
Wow,
November.
look at you. Where'd you come up with
So
all
these
this
are
money?
these are things that
Tings?
well, the Costa Rica
There's
thing
no
is something that we
TH.
had booked during the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my
We had
goodness.
to cancel it,
Yeah.
so we want to get it out of
Gotcha.
the way.
Listen to you.
You are crazy.
You don't want to get a vacation
Yeah. Are you
out of the
gonna-
way. You make it sound like it's
Are you
such
gonna
an
wear your-
inconvenience.
it's hardship.
Hey, you know what?
It's hardship.
I will take that hardship
So,
off your back.
Do you wear the shrimp festival hat and your penny on the plane and in other countries? I mean,
No.
I've never seen you without the yellow penny on. And,
when I do anything that's Lions related, I love
Yeah.
the penny.
and I have to say,
we decided to, Lions color it up for you.
We're like triplets
Yeah,
here.
we are like triplets.
so lastly, before we let you go, I'm a little disappointed in both you and Shelby for not initiating me into the Lions. I've been begging to get into the Lions, and I guess you got to be sponsored, and maybe that's the answer right there. Neither one of you wants to allow me into the Lions Club.
Make an official request. And
How do I do that? I've done it 5 times already.
make an official request?
I would
now.
like to request to be a Lion.
okay.
How the hell do you? I
Okay.
mean, come on.
Okay.
I want to be part of the
Aren't
grand-
there
see, it's now
rules
official.
about
Is the grand-
behavior and stuff?
Oh, totally.
I mean, who's the grand poobah of the Lions? I mean, who's the Fred Flintstone?
Well, Drew is our president.
Drew who?
Drew, yeah.
Oh, that's right. We've had Drew on the
Yeah,
show. I
yeah.
mean, why won't he let me in the club, man? What's going on over there?
I think because of your behavior.
But who
They
said we
have
wouldn't
to-
let you in the club?
I've asked repeatedly, and nothing ever happens.
Well, the summer is a poor time for us anyway.
I
You know, it's
asked you
quiet,
during the
it's
Shrimp
quiet.
Festival, Bernard.
Well, you know,
Well,
we're
they
very
were
distracted.
busy.
So anyway, it's on record now. It's an official request.
It's on record. Let me go back to the last 5 shows you were on. It's on record. The record is stuck, and the
Well, now the
needle is
record, you
stuck.
made the record with me officially.
Yes, stop replaying
So at
your
our next board,
request.
our next
Let me-
board meeting, I'll bring it up.
I'll
When are
help
your
you out with
meetings,
this
by the
one.
way?
You're denied.
Second, we normally try to have meetings second and fourth Thursday of the month.
Thursday.
The second is board meeting, fourth is club meeting. But during the summer, you know, out of season, things get so quiet. that
Things.
We normally just have one meeting a month.
There's no
Bernard.
TH.
We love to have you on. You're such a good sport. My head is on fire right now. This hat
I
is
will
so
say, yeah.
hot. It's 1,000
Well,
degrees out
we've
there.
got the 2 hats on
I
there.
feel the sweat. The sweat is running down my back right now.
I wish it would
Bernard,
run in your mouth.
when are we
going to
see each other again? When's our next event that we're going to be hanging out together?
Well, we're
It won't be a Lions Club meeting.
we are. What I do is, you know, if you want me to, I can come back towards the end of the year and give
We
an
want
update
you
on
back
where
whenever
she's
you
at.
want to come back.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we are doing the putt and pub.
Bring Drew so I can yell at him about not letting me in the
Putt and
club.
Pub.
Putt and
Yeah,
pub. But I
yeah.
won't be. We've got a cruise planned for January when it's on.
Of course you
again,
do. Yeah. So
again,
where are you going
again.
on the cruise? The Bahamas?
All this stuff is just pent up from the pandemic.
Yeah, right. Ladies
Well,
and gentlemen,
before you go, congratulations.
happy
heartfelt
anniversary. 36
anniversary to
years.
you and your wife.
Thank you.
Thank you
So,
for coming on.
Okay.
If
you're
we'd
welcome.
known, we would have got you a gift or something.
Bernard McGarvey, everybody, our big friend from the Shrimp Festival and the Lions Club. All right, before we get to our... I know, he's got some awesome looking shoes on. Terry, you're going to do your thing, and I'm going to tell everybody about our official ice cream sponsor, which is Royal Scoop. And Royal Scoop is hosting our next new candidate forum. Oh, we might have some news to tell you about candidate forum. But our new candidate forum is a week from yesterday, by the way, at Royal Scoop. Starts at 5 with a meet and greet. And, of course, you can go next door to the Tuckaway Cafe and their brewery and test out their brand new beer that they have over there. But the actual event is going to be at 6 o'clock. We've got a lot more questions that came up from the last time they were on the show or at Margarita's. So tune in for that. Royal Scoop also has ice cream, by the way. They have 52 freaking flavors. 52 flavors. That's a lot of ice cream. Imagine if you went in and you tasted every flavor of ice cream with that little spoon they give you. Whoop, 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 whoop. Nothing but ice cream over there. And they're located at 2307 Estero Boulevard. You'll see our sign over there that says that they're an official sponsor of the Beach Talk Radio. They're open 12 o'clock to 9 o'clock, indoor and outdoor seating. They are family owned, and we appreciate them being a sponsor of the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now joining us for segment number 2. We have 3 segments today. Brendan Leslie is joining us at 10 o'clock. Lots of stuff going on with Florida's conservative voice. So tune in at 10 for some fun and excitement. Right now, Jack joins us. Jack is, I'm not going to screw up your last name.
Yeah, how do you
Jack.
pronounce your last name?
It's Broza.
Broza.
Wow, would not have gotten it
I don't
right.
even think I spelled it right then. I left off the other half.
You're missing the
An
first
O?
Z after the R.
Oh, I see.
No. It's way more
Brozoza.
consonants than you think.
Yeah. I don't know where I got Broza from.
Oh, it's close.
So you have 2 Z's in your
Two
name?
Zs,
Yeah. How many
It's a hard
people do you
letter to
know
make.
have 2 Z's in their name?
A lot of Polish, other Polish people.
Now,
Wow.
of course, I need to ask you about what's going on with your nose thing there. Is there some kind of symbol about the nose ring thing?
No, not really.
Okay.
It's just a thing.
Just wanted it and decided.
Is it
What the
is it a
hell?
ring, or it actually looks like it could be like one of those long things that shoots across your nose?
No, it's only on the one side.
I see.
Yeah,
I see.
it's just-
Did you
it's a
just wink at
stud.
me
It's
for
a-
some reason?
What's
He
that?
You winked at me.
He
Why'd you
just
do
winked
that?
at you.
I
Just
did.
winked.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Do you-
It wasn't intentional.
I
Don't
see,
get
I
upset.
we were-
Nobody's winking at you
No,
with the shrimp hat
no.
on or
oh,
not.
I need to take that off.
It's
there.
hot.
You
It's
can
hot.
start with the intro,
So-
but we have to do the speed round, of course.
All right. So yeah. So before we get started,
Okay.
what you're from SCCF, the Sanibel Captiva Conservation Foundation,
Correct.
and what is your title there, sir?
I'm a sea turtle biologist.
Sea turtle biologist. Now, before we get started to talk about everything sea turtle, we do a speed round, which is a bunch of
Don't
questions
cheat. No
to
looking at the
just
questions.
so people can get to know
Mm,
the real Jack
Broza.
Broza.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Sure.
You
let's go.
cannot take a long period of time to think,
Okay.
and don't explain your answers.
Jeez.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Dog or cat person?
Dog.
Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite TV show growing up?
Oh, oh man. Drake and Josh.
Wait, I need
Drake and
to
Josh.
stop the clock on that. I've never heard of that.
It
That's
was,
because
it was on Nickelodeon.
Drake and Josh
Oh,
on
yeah.
Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
yeah.
Nothing like Happy Days or
Here's
Laverne
the
and
thing.
Shirley or
Those might be before my time.
Yes.
forget about you.
Hello.
Go dear.
Let's see. What is the most interesting person you know and why? Not in your family.
Oh, the most interesting person I know. Oh,
Or an interesting person so you don't offend anybody that you know.
yeah, that's a good compromise. Boy,
You want to phone a friend?
I'm struggling with that
All right.
one.
Who
Yeah.
would you call for an answer?
Well, that would have to be the same person that I can't come up with, right?
Amber Heard or Johnny Depp?
Probably Johnny Depp.
Why?
Well,
You said you couldn't give any answers.
yeah, true. I will explain because you've asked, but I haven't followed that whole thing too closely. But from the little snippets I have heard, it seems like he's the less crazy abusive one.
I see.
But
I see.
but I haven't studied it in too much detail. So
If you were to ride across the country in an RV, who would be in the passenger seat?
who would be in the passenger seat? Ooh, probably my friend Jason.
Jason.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jason's just not interesting, but you would take him on a trip.
No, he's interesting
Yeah.
for sure.
Not
Yeah.
real interesting, though.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort
He'll
of.
never hear this.
All right,
so
last question.
he's not that interesting.
Nobody will ever hear this, Jack. Don't worry about it.
Interested in
Nobody.
this.
This is just really the three of us talking. So,
Ah.
what is your most embarrassing moment in your life?
Oh man, that's a good one.
Please.
Never mind.
Never
Don't worry
mind.
about
Yep.
the bell. It's
Yep.
a personal. It's an inside joke.
Most embarrassing moment. See, I tend to try to like
Avoid
stuff these
that.
down deep and not
Yeah.
ever remember
Bring
them.
it back
But for a
up.
speed round, it's difficult.
Bring it back up, brother. We're here for you.
Boy,
You need a hug? You need a bro hug?
I mean, I don't think that'll help, but
No.
can I come back to that
No.
one?
It's the last freaking question, man.
Oh, man.
Answer it.
Everybody so far,
Here,
almost
no,
everybody.
you can't
Let's
give 'em
stop.
clues.
I can. Everybody so far has had an incident where they've lost their pants.
Yeah. Have you ever lost your pants? It's more like it.
That's going to be the
No,
question.
No, I wouldn't say lost my pants.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
someone did like, or they
To
fell.
pants, yeah.
I sort of like
Keep your pants on.
no, I disappeared for a day or two. That
Oh.
might have
Cause people some
maybe
consternation.
had something to do with some
Embarrassing moments.
yeah, that was probably in itself an embarrassing moment because I had to walk back in.
Wait a second
Walk of
now.
shame.
Wait.
Yeah.
Why did you
Okay.
disappear?
Well, I might
Can't
have
just
had,
throw that out there.
a little too much to drink.
Drink.
Oh, I
Oh.
see.
And
Yeah.
so
What was your
the
drink?
whole aftermath was a little
Yeah.
bit embarrassing.
A little bit of a headache. What was your drink of choice the night you got hammered like that?
Oh, that probably would have been cacique, which is like a sugarcane liquor that they
Yeah.
make in Costa Rica.
Oh,
Were
you
you
were
in Costa
I
Rica?
was.
I
I
see.
was.
How many?
Oh.
How many do you think you had, if you can recall?
Oh boy. A lot.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
10, more or less than 10.
Probably more.
I see.
Probably more.
So, you know, that's
So what were you doing in Costa Rica?
yeah.
I was
good
working
call.
down there.
Oh,
I
That was
doing-
Apparently you were not.
well, not that night.
was that
a
your
free
last
night
day
off.
at the job?
That was a free night off. No.
So that's the kind of incident where you find yourself like kidnapped in a country like that, and then you're thrown up
Costa
for
Rica
ransom.
is not.
Well,
They
yeah,
sell you
not-
to-
Do you
Just
not
speak
there.
Spanish?
Not very well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Did
used
you-
to be better. This was years ago.
When
but
you
I've
woke
since
up,
not-
did
Years
you-
ago. How old are you?
How old do you think I am?
28.
It's close.
25.
29. Yeah.
See,
29.
when you woke up from that drunken stupor in Costa Rica, did you realize how you got to where you were?
Like I
You knew
mean,
how
I
you got
remember
there.
the before for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Most of it anyway.
And no, I mean, I little bit of how I got there. Yeah. But
Yeah. Where did you wake up?
So I was working at a camp on a beach, and then on a neighboring beach, we had like another group working for the same organization. So they were just a little bit further down. So I was there.
You were at the wrong beach camp.
Yeah.
Did you wake up?
Closer, so.
Did you wake up and go, how did that person
Yeah.
there?
Did you wake up alone?
Oh no, there were people at the
all naked,
the camp.
all totally naked.
No.
All closed.
Fully
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You hesitated a little bit on that. Hey, I bet you didn't know this was going to be a personal, totally
You're
personal
rolling with
thing,
it though.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
what?
We turned this speed round into
That's right.
a slow round.
This is your life.
Yeah.
You know that used to be a TV show.
Speed round?
No,
Or
this
slow
is
round?
your life.
A little duck
Yeah,
would fall
yeah.
out of the ceiling, and Groucho Marx would ask questions.
Good
and
Lord.
Ever hear Groucho Marx?
Stop.
No.
The
Anyway,
name rings a bell.
so you count turtles. That's really what your job
No,
is
let me
now.
just let's back it up a little
In a
bit.
turtle shell.
In a turtle shell.
You like that one?
That was a good
Good
one.
call.
That was a good
Yeah.
one.
Very
Where
funny.
did you go to school?
So so I actually went
You
to
got to
school.
keep this closer.
I
There
actually
you
went
go.
to school at the University of Pittsburgh. That's where I graduated. That's where I'm from.
And they have turtle biology there?
They do not. So
Okay.
I'm general biology and sort of have made my way into the marine field. So
Because marine biology seems to be one of those things that every kid growing up is like, I want to be a marine biologist.
yes.
Was that the case with you?
No.
What did you want to be?
Never heard anybody say that.
yeah.
I
Never.
think probably when I was young, it was a professional football player.
Yeah.
I
Got
played
it.
football
Because you
growing
look
up. and
built like a football player. I mean, what position would you have played? Offensive line?
I was offensive line for
Okay.
most of the time I played. Yeah. And then once I became not the biggest kid anymore, I was tight
Like what
end.
grade was that?
Yeah, I mean, I probably through
Seventh?
like 5th, 6th grade. I
Okay,
was O-line, and then
In a
And then
very
that-
small school.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Like 9 people
Stop.
graduated. I'm kidding.
So did you grow up in Pennsylvania?
Yes.
Nice.
Mhm.
Nice. Where?
Outside of Pittsburgh, north
okay.
of
Come on,
Pittsburgh.
dear. Come on.
I'm just trying to
Right.
let everybody
So
get
you
to
work
know.
for SCCF, which is the Southern California Community Foundation, or well, no, really.
That's one SCCF.
I see.
I work for Sanibel Captiva,
Sanibel Captiva.
Conservation
Gotcha.
Foundation.
By the way, what's going on with the bathrooms over there on Sanibel? I mean, did you see that crazy story
I did
about
just see that
people popping cameras in the fire extinguishers and craziness?
fire alarm, but-
Fire
I
alarm?
mean, the only thing I can say to that is that's
Creepy.
on so many levels. Yeah, wrong.
Right.
And
Right.
I don't know anything about, other than the story
Not-
that was published, but that's
Not only is that like some crazy whack job pervert does that, but how does somebody see who's like, oh, wait a second, that doesn't look like a real fire
because I think where it was
thingamajig.
positioned, maybe.
I don't know,
I don't
man.
think
It's
you
like, whoever
see them
looks at
in a
that thing, though.
bathroom.
I mean, kudos to them. I think
No
that was
kidding.
the public works that kind of does the
They
the
probably were
management of
like,
that
who
area
the
up
hell
there,
put
and
this in
you know
here?
it looked new to them, or they knew
Yeah.
that it wasn't there before. So yeah, props to them for
creepy.
being on the.
So
Now,
that
wait a
had to
minute.
be like a wireless camera, obviously. That I mean, you can't have. He didn't drill
We
a
were
hole
gonna
in the
talk
back
about
and
that later.
plug it in.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't have any
That's
more details.
out of
but-
FCCF's
Yeah.
bailiwick there. Gotcha.
So no cameras in bathrooms, but there's cameras on some of the turtles, correct? Or they're just tracking. Are they tracking things, or
So-
they turtle cams?
Yeah, great question. We've done
Not even good. Great. Go ahead.
cameras. We've had game cameras out.
Okay.
So sort of to capture what wildlife is utilizing the beach habitat and might be
Now, a
interacting.
game camera is not positioned on an animal. It's positioned on a.
Correct.
Okay.
And we've put satellite transmitters on turtles, but those have never been outfitted with a camera. Other places have done cameras on turtles, but we have not.
So what's the name of the turtle?
Juonia.
Is that the name of the turtle that you tracked to Key West? The big mama?
The one that got the most publicity was Junonia.
Yeah.
Junonia.
Okay. So that thing rides like 90 miles an hour. That turtle flies.
Yeah, I mean they can go pretty fast.
What's top? What really seriously is the top speed of that some bitch?
Yeah, so I mean that didn't record speed, so we don't know necessarily how fast she was.
Oh,
moving.
so you might have been manipulating the video to make it look faster.
What
don't have
video
video
are
of
you
that.
talking about?
There's you can watch right. You can watch it on the camera on the camera on the thingamajig. No,
No,
Not
that's
on-
what he just
not
said.
on ours. I mean,
Oh.
sometimes
maybe I was watching YouTube then.
if you look up the tracks of where she went, it'll show you the
Well,
path,
that's what I
but
was.
that's-
I'm a
that's not
math
in real
major, so I was
time.
calculating the speed
You
by
cannot
the
do that.
circumference of the,
The
Key West.
circumference?
Yeah.
Well, I'd have to look. I'd have
Circumference
to
is
look
a
more into
circle,
that.
you
Yeah. I don't-
I told you. I gave you the heads up.
The bottom line is they go fast. They
Oh,
can
yeah.
go fast.
They can go very fast,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
And
Especially in water.
Like,
Yeah.
what eats a turtle that big? Like, those turtles are like 500 pounds, right?
Yeah. So I mean, sharks are a big
Yeah.
in water
Yeah.
predator of turtles, especially as far as predating on the turtle. I mean, they face a number of threats, but as an adult size, yeah, a lot of times it's shark that's big enough and strong enough to
Yeah.
take on
Because
it.
really, the only way they can protect themselves is with their shell. It's not like they have any. They can't. They're not like Spider-Man where they can.
That'd be
Right.
nice if they had some kind of
Yeah,
like force field.
but it's probably important to note too that
Kryptonite.
they can't. I mean, their shell, yes, is
But they can't pull all the way in. Right?
correct. Right.
Oh, they can't.
So if
See,
you
I didn't know
What
that.
about their head?
no,
They can't.
I mean,
pull
None
it.
can-
of them. None
they
of the
can-
loggerheads, the
the same way we
hawksbills.
can,
None
like,
of them.
squinch
this?
down a little
Okay.
bit.
So
they
Jack,
can't retract
my
inside.
question is like, if a turtle sees a
This is
shark,
going to be a dumb question, Jack.
Mhm.
it's going to be a question that all of our people would like to know. But
Mhm.
I'm the only one that is willing to step out and ask it.
Go ahead.
When you
Stick
have
your
an-
neck out there, turtle.
When you have
man.
an expert like Jack in your midst, you need to ask all the important questions, dear. So stand back for a second and let
Yeah.
me ask the important question. When
This
a
is going to
turtle
be a bell reduction.
sees a shark, is a
Mhm.
turtle smart enough to know that shark could kill me? Or does a turtle just loafing along, turning left, turning right, and then it's gone? Gonzo.
I mean, it's a good question to say.
It is
Do they-
not a good question.
Do they know? I mean, I think that's
Brilliant
a difficult
question.
question to answer. I think they can identify it as a potential predator, as a threat, and they'll do their best to evade.
So really what
Um,
you're saying is turtles aren't as smart as dolphins then, because dolphins are the smartest
I
out there,
I
right?
think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a background in that
I
science,
see.
but I think that's probably a safe
What is
bet.
that science?
Yeah.
You mean the science of dolphins, or you mean the science of marine intelligence?
Well, probably both. Probably both. I think it's probably well known that dolphins are
Yeah.
pretty
I
smart
I
marine
want to
mammals,
see
and,
the psychologist.
and a
that-
turtle's brain is pretty small.
Yeah. So it's you're totally judged by the size of your brain.
well, they're
mean-
very instinctual. To
Yes.
smart, dumb. Those
Reptilian
are maybe the
brain.
wrong.
So
adjectives
so
to
here's the
use.
second question that I'm sure our entire audience wants to hear. We've got this issue with lighting on the beach because there's so
Mhm.
many buildings on our beach, and people forget, they get drunk like you did in Costa Rica that night, and they forget to leave the lights on, and the turtles get all whacked out. I mean, they're swimming this way, they're running that way, they're breaking in their shells, and so how do we get more of these turtles to survive when they make it to the water? Because you got all this stuff going on, and yet like 1 out of 1,000. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's
The rest of them are
the
just
unfortunate
freaking
statistic.
fish bait.
hmm
Like, so what do we need to do to change that ratio, Jack
So that's
Broza?
that's the difficult question, and that's what a lot of beachfront and turtle nesting habitat
Yeah.
areas struggle with, is how to manage that lighting aspect, because it's an issue in a number of different aspects. So you have point source. So what probably everybody is imagining is a house with its maybe outside porch light on, but there's also what's
So I have a suggestion. I'm not talking
Let
about the
him
lights.
finish.
We're not talking about the lights.
okay.
We'll never solve the light issue. We're trying, but
I
we'll
mean-
never solve the light issue. I'm trying to solve the turtle death problem, Jack. Get with me on this.
Okay.
There's nothing
So-
that can be done
Yes,
in
I have
the
a suggestion.
water.
But
I
I,
have a
think
question
lighting
for
would,
you.
would help with
Well,
some
for
of
sure.
the
Getting more turtles into the water would
For
up
sure.
the numbers.
Sure.
Let me-
I
so
mean,
he- so-
statistically, you would hope that
He's
that.
got some dumb thing he wants
I
to
have an
say.
idea. So I know you all want this to be natural, where you let the
Here
turtles
we go.
get into the sand and swim
Dumb.
out.
Yeah.
From time to time, you got to pick some of them up because they're they're in the street. They're in the pink shell pool. They're where
Yes.
okay. So then what do you do with them? You put them in the water, right?
We'd still allow them to crawl in the sand.
Okay. Because you think they like how the sand feels on their feet, or
Well,
what?
actually, that's a really important part of
I see.
their.
But
so
the
there's
minute
this
that
term
they get in the water, they're
imprinting.
going to be eaten.
Potentially.
Okay.
I mean, not all
so
of them.
my point is my question first is,
Can you get to your stupid comment so we can move on?
Is it that they don't get far enough out in the water before they get killed and eaten?
Potentially. I think it's just the sheer fact that they face so many threats, whether it's inshore, offshore.
Is
at
there a
every
certain
life
safe
stage.
space like you were creating for people nowadays? Is there a
Sort
safe
of.
space?
So they're trying to swim to Sargassum Flats, which offer them
of course, we know where
shelter,
that is. I have no
protection,
idea where that is. But so why
That's
not?
the seaweed.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, so
it's
why
these-
not take a bunch of them
Here we
without
go.
telling anybody?
Finally, we're getting to it.
and put them there.
So in certain instances, sometimes if the turtles wash back after they've grown to a certain size, they've been out there a while,
Yeah.
because it would require so much energy to swim back. FWC does permit taking them offshore to release. You could break what you're suggesting down into a number of issues, one of which is, I mean, you couldn't do that for every nest realistically. So if you're,
Why not? If you're given if now 2 out of 1,000 survive because you helped them, what's the downside to
well,
that?
you would need people. I mean, they're hatching at night, and we never know when. It's a window, right? So you would need
come
people
on.
there.
We're
from-
America. We can figure that part out, Jack.
We
You
can't
know?
figure out how to get water out west. We're not
Oh,
figuring
stop
that out.
with
But
that
then you
thing.
could make the argument that you're potentially influencing
Yeah.
the gene pool by,
Right.
maybe these turtles aren't the fittest, and now you're giving them.
Okay,
and-
now the truth comes out.
Well,
survival of the fittest.
That's a true aspect
I'm with you.
of any
I'm with you.
population management.
True. Yeah.
Well, but survival of the fittest. It's not the unfit turtles that are getting distracted by the light.
No.
Well, that's a different
And
story.
that's not what I'm. Yeah, I'm
That's a
surely
different story.
talking about scooping up.
I know,
every,
but what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I say just put them in a big boat, drop them in the molasses like you're talking about, and see
What?
how many survive.
Okay, to
Just
to
try
up
it
the
once.
numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Survival.
Not so everybody
we
can
have-
turn their lights on.
Now we have more bigger, fatter turtles that
So would you
ride
still
100
be in a?
No,
in-
they still need to turn
So-
the
They
lights
still
out.
need to
well,
turn the lights
exactly,
out.
because it's not just the hatchlings, right? The adults can be
Right.
disoriented by the lights as well, and they'll never lay eggs. Then
So
that might
sometimes you
deter
just got to
them
think
from-
out of the box, and I'm just throwing that idea
Oh,
out there. I
yeah.
know nobody wants to hear my ideas, but I mean, yours aren't not yours, but I mean the other ones. It's still 1 in 1,000. It's been 1 in 1,000 for way too long.
Well,
Let's trying
the-
up the numbers here.
Well, the idea is that it's now 1 in 1,000, and that might be lessening with all the conservation efforts
Yeah.
that have been going on.
I see.
Because we don't see the results of that maybe for
Mm.
decades due to
Do-
the growth rates and life cycle of sea turtles taking decades to mature.
Now,
No.
go ahead. Go
Mhm.
ahead.
So, is there data? How far back is there data for the statistic of how many survive? Like the 1 out of 1,000. Like 100 years ago, was it 2, or has it always been 1 out of 1,000?
I don't think it's always been 1 out of 1,000. That's sort of based on modeling, again, because it would be so hard to
Right.
come
right,
up with
right,
that
right,
number.
Right. It's
Um,
not like somebody's actually counting. It's a model.
Right.
But was the model better years and years and years ago, or is it just something that stays?
I think it's gotten a lot better now that,
Okay.
I mean, especially with if you look at one specific kind of measure, it would be the introduction of TEDs in all these shrimp trawling and these fishing boats. Those have made a huge difference in reducing the number of mortalities from bycatch. So there's a lot more turtles that were able to survive those interactions that could then go on to mature, lay eggs, and has increased the number of turtles nesting, the number of turtles that are making it back into the ocean. So now there's more out of that
Right.
1 in 1,000 that have
That
that
are making it.
opportunity.
We're
So,
we're running out of time here, but I wanted to
Can
ask
I
you.
just ask him some serious questions? So, how's turtle season going so far?
it's good. We're looking at right now. We're at about 766 nests, I believe, total.
Okay.
So we're not gonna break our numbers from last year, but it's still been a strong season.
But last year was like a record year, right? 21?
Yeah, it tied.
Okay.
It tied our record from 2020. But that's not an alarming in any way. Not every turtle nests
Right.
every year. So it could just be that year where turtles that take two years off or turtles that take 3 years off, some of that's coinciding. And so
Right.
there's just a smaller.
What's
number
going on with the
nesting there.
coyotes out in Sanibel? I didn't even know there were coyotes on Sanibel.
Oh yeah. There's coyotes on Sanibel, Captiva. I mean,
Oh.
they're
you
in
allowed-
all counties of Florida, so they're pretty
And
much
once they
everywhere.
get there, how are they going to get off? It's not like they can
Are you
walk
allowed to
over the
shoot them?
bridge.
No, there's no control currently. There's no firearm discharge.
So they
permitted
just
on
reproduce.
Sanibel. Yeah,
And they go after the turtles.
They are a predator to turtles. Yes, the
Well,
nests, the hatchlings.
Just another way that you should pick them up, drop them in the molasses. I mean,
So how many of the nests have hatched? Like how far into the season?
So at the end of August here, we're kind of probably
Winding down, yeah?
on the So nesting is pretty much done at this point.
Nesting is pretty much done, and
we're
hatchlings are
still-
pretty much.
Yeah, so we still have a lot of nests left that need to hatch, a
Okay.
couple hundred probably. August is a big hatching month, just because June is probably the peak nesting month. So 2 months from then is when a lot of those nests are hatching. I think currently we've had close to 30,000 hatchlings that
Wow.
we've
Wow.
documented
30,000.
emerged from nests.
and how many survived?
30.
Well, so yeah, we don't know. That's how many we know that have made it out. But it's a question that's still being studied about how many from time of nest to ocean.
make it.
There's a study that suggests maybe 7% of turtles that emerge don't actually ever make it to the ocean due to a number of, could be coyotes, could be
Right.
lights, could be birds,
Fire ants.
could be fire ants.
Yeah, so you want to remind people that they need to keep their phone light and their flashlight off if they're walking on the beach, and that if somebody from your group or any group asks them to turn their light off politely, that they be polite and not harass the people that are trying to
Right.
keep it safe.
Yeah.
Because I heard an unfortunate story this morning. So
Well, do share.
no, just about somebody asking.
She throws it
somebody
out
to,
there and then she
No,
won't
no,
tell the
no.
story. She
Well,
does
no,
that.
no, no,
You
it
know
was
what?
just
She's going to tell
that.
a story later tonight when we're at
No.
home because
No.
that's the
No,
best
no.
show we always have when
Right.
she's yelling at people and telling the truth.
No, it wasn't me, but I just want people to be, if you get asked to turn your light off, just turn
just
the
do
light
it.
off.
Yeah.
You don't have to be like, this is encroaching on my rights.
Did we miss anything?
Did we get to anything of importance?
thought-
Well,
that
hey,
was
this is
the
what
thing.
this is
Okay.
whatever you wanted to ask.
Thank you for
Great.
coming all the way out here from Sanibel. It's
Do you live on there?
I
you
do
live
not.
out
Oh, where do you
there?
live?
I live.
Not exactly.
I live like near Iona.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm not
So,
very
yeah,
far at all.
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Jack.
You're
We
very
appreciate
welcome.
your time, and
Yeah.
we love SCCF. And tell everybody over there we said hi.
Yeah.
Who's that? Kelly Sloan
Yes,
and
yes.
the entire upper echelons, all the grand poobahs over there. Thank you so much for
Sure,
coming
you're
on.
Thank you
welcome.
so much.
Absolutely.
Jack Broza, everybody. We want to thank him for coming on. All right, before we get to our third segment with Brendan Leslie, Florida's conservative voice, I need to tell you about Island Carts FMB. If you want a nice cart, if you want a cart that actually works the entire time you're driving it, if you want a cart in which the battery will not die, then you're going to go to Island Carts FMB and you're going to order one. You're going to order one now for the time where you need it because you're going to need it real soon. Island Carts FMB is a golf cart company run by local residents with one goal in mind, and that's to churn out happy customers. Well, maybe two goals. The other one is to get people from where they start to where they end without their cart conking out. They have Bluetooth. They have backup cameras. It's like a modern cart, man. It's not one of those old golf carts that these other places bought from some went out of business golf course and made a business out of it. These guys put their time and effort into the golf carts. You know it because you've been in one. If you haven't been in one, get your butt in one. They have 8-seaters. They have 4-seaters. They have all kinds of seaters, front seat, back seat. All you need to do is call 844-362-2278. 844-362-2278. IslandCartsFMB.com. and they do sponsor our 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, commercial-free music station. And the way that you listen to that is by going to the App Store for Apple or Android and downloading the Beach Talk Radio News app. All you have to do is press play on the bottom. Sit back down. Our final guest is no stranger to this audience. Brendan Leslie is back, everybody. And Brendan, it's been
strange, but
quite
not
a
a
while.
stranger.
No, not a
Is that
stranger
fair?
to the show. And Brendan, the host and creator and CEO of Florida's Voice. We did a show together for a while. It seems like a couple of years ago now. And
doesn't it feel like it's been a long time?
I know, down in Gulf Coast Town Center. And you're doing the show down at Seat to Table, but you also did it at the Man Caves. You pop
doing
it up
all over the state.
place.
I'm doing it in Pinellas. I got one. I'm gonna be doing one in Jacksonville, Miami. We did one over in Jupiter on the other side of the coast. So we're statewide. And Fort Myers Beach, I love it because you can almost argue that this is where I kind of got my bearings, kind of where I started when exposing John Heim. How's he? Is he doing all right? Is he still a thing?
We don't really hear or see much of him,
Not much.
other than his pushing his ice cream cart around on the beach. Every once in a while, he pops up on somebody's page. But you mentioned that you're moving the show around. Do you haul all the equipment yourself and set it up, or
I have an audiovisual manager, Jason Beal. A lot of people know him. He's
Look at
great.
you.
He has his own trailer and all the equipment. Yeah, he hauls it.
So
nice.
you go from place to place.
Yep.
Not it's not like you have an established.
Yep.
It's
So-
it's one show that you go place to place.
So Florida's Voice is the news network, right? And then Patriot Talk Show, consider that like my Tucker Carlson show.
Got
It's
you.
like an individual show of Florida's Voice. And Patriot Talk Show, what's so unique about it is, like what we used to do in the Gulf Coast, got the live audience.
Yeah.
And I started it way back at Seat to Table 2 years ago with one goal in mind, and that was to make a difference in local politics in Southwest Florida. We did that. I mean, I literally had a list of politicians that we needed to switch out, and because we needed to amplify the other side, because the mainstream media is not going to do that. We did that. And I'm so proud to say that in this primary election, we took down, I can't even, countless incumbents that were pro shutdown, pro lockdown, mask mandates, stuff like that. So I saw the impacts it was having in Southwest Florida. I was like, all right, it's time to take this statewide. And now we're doing this everywhere, just amplifying the other side, being the other guys, the opposite of the mainstream media.
Is it because they've heard of you in those other areas, or because you went and knocked on doors?
Yep. No, our reach is in the millions and millions of impressions between my website, social medias every single month. I got fans all the way from Miami all the way up to Jacksonville. Not just the other day, Jacksonville radio host was talking crud about me because he was mad about a report I did. So my name's getting around.
Yeah.
And it's just because we just keep telling the truth. We still have zero retractions to our name.
Yeah. So before we get to the Lehigh thing, you got to interview the governor.
Yeah.
Like, what was that whole setup about, and how did you make that happen?
So I was covering the Statesman Dinner, which is like the big fundraiser for the Duval GOP up in Northeast Florida. And the governor was being honored there. So I just reached out to his campaign. I was like, hey, I'm going to be here. You're going to be here. Does he have 15 extra minutes to do an interview? And they're like, with Brendan Leslie? Hell yeah. So we got to do it.
He says that laughing.
Yeah.
I'm just
I'm
kidding.
gonna have to move out of the way while your head expands.
I'm just kidding. We like to have fun. We like to
And
joke.
I'm gonna have to move out of the way with
he-
that hand you got flippy flapping around there.
They were very excited to do it because the governor, and it's not because of Brendan Leslie, it's because Florida's Voice has turned into like the lead political reporting of the truth in Florida, and they are so determined to amp up alternative media because you see how they treat the governor on a daily basis.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, we need to like boost the capitalists. We're a capitalist society, so let's boost with the competition, and that's exactly what his goal is, and that's why he was really excited to sit down and do an interview.
She actually covered one of the press conferences that he had at Doc Ford's, and you saw it firsthand how somebody in the back
that
row
was rude.
was asking a completely, what was the question about? Do you remember?
It was about someone that works for him had some issue from Georgia, not the state of Georgia. I don't know. It was a female. Yeah, you
so
know what I'm talking about.
Christina Pusha, his former press secretary, she's
There
now
you
working
go.
for the campaign side. She resigned from the state to work for the campaign because she's better off being an attack dog on that side.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
great. She worked over in the country, Georgia, and they tried to make a whole controversy of how she was wasn't a registered foreign agent.
Right.
There was some little mess up in paperwork.
One little,
So they tried to twist it, but that's typical of the mainstream media. They'll go to these press conferences and try to do a gotcha movement.
Right. So what are your thoughts on?
Do you think you never do gotchas?
Oh, I've done gotchas.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think about DeSantis running for president compared to Trump running for president? What's going to happen?
You have to ask me these questions.
Yeah.
All right. So
I mean, honestly, I think that if Trump would get out of the damn way, DeSantis would win in a landslide.
I want to give a warning to the mainstream media and the left who are doing everything they can to tear down Donald Trump. Beware, because the next guy is not going to be any easier, and that's Governor Ron DeSantis. I think right now how it's going to play out is still Trump 24, DeSantis 28. But what I have been reporting is what they're doing with Mar-a-Lago, what they're doing with this witch hunt against Donald Trump left and right. They are trying to get him disqualified from the election in 2024. They don't care if DeSantis comes in and wins. They hate Donald Trump that much.
Yeah.
Will they be successful at it? Will they be able to run out the clock? That's what they're trying to do. They're not going to I'd be shocked if they actually indict Trump ever. They might indict him, but it's going to be on bogus stuff and they'll be dropped. But they're just doing it to run out the clock so that he can't actually run in 24.
But don't you think that if Donald Trump was actually thinking in terms of anything other than himself, was thinking in terms of the future of the country, he would actually just step aside a little bit and say Ron DeSantis is the guy? Because clearly, I mean, even the national media is trying to tear DeSantis down now because they see that he's making, waves. So why can't Trump just for once make it not about him?
He's on a mission. He's got goals that he set out for himself personally that he still wants to accomplish, and he might do that. We don't know. He still hasn't declared for 24. I'm not sure. I can say that probably one day, whether it be in maybe a few months or maybe it will be in 2026, 2027, he is going to do that and back down DeSantis. But I just don't know when it's going to happen yet.
Don't you think that
tough.
DeSantis is more electable than Donald Trump? I don't think Trump is electable.
The argument for Governor DeSantis and why he should run is that he resonates with the moderates more. That's what people will say.
The reason that Trump lost was because of the middle. He was too
Here
crazy.
We go.
Yeah.
I mean, right or wrong.
And a lot of dead people voted. So,
Do you think the election was stolen?
I think we should look into it.
What kind of answer is that from you? So what else is happening before we get to the Lehigh thing?
Charlie Crist today is going to announce his running mate. This is great. I broke news left and right. I had a lot of fun on Twitter yesterday. Charlie Crist is announcing his pick for lieutenant governor, and it's this lady named Carla Matz. She's a president of the Miami-Dade Teachers Union. It's called the United Teachers of Dade, the UTD. Mm-hmm. And she has actually been on record defending pedophiles. There's a picture going around that I exposed of her sitting next to this guy named Wendell Nibbs. He pled guilty to sexual assault of children. He's had allegations against him as a teacher at, I think it was some school in South Florida. He had allegations against him since 2004, and the teachers union that Carla was a head of actually defended him, helped him through 5 separate investigations, protected him for years, and it turns out that he did actually assault all these children. And now he's sitting rotting in jail. Oh, I dig. And not only that,
what do you do in your spare time? Because I'm guessing not much.
I don't have spare time.
Do you have a social life?
Nope. Single as a Pringle, so that's all I do.
Oh, you had a girlfriend for a little while there.
I had to work, so we're just focused on the mission now.
How big is the organization now? How many employees do you have?
I have 2 reporters. I have a CEO, an assistant, my audiovisual, my production manager, and we're hiring a new reporter who's starting next Monday. She'll be based in Central Florida, and then we have a Jacksonville reporter coming about a month after that.
What's the goal?
So do you think that it's mutually exclusive? Like, do you think that this is the way it's got to be for you?
What do you mean?
Like,
what do you mean?
Single as a Pringle, as you put it,
to
be successful as you determine success?
My dad always told me to pursue my passions and the happiness will just naturally come. So that's what I'm doing.
And for people that don't know, you used to work at Wink.
Yep.
What happened there? What was the fallout there?
Well, I used to work in county politics. So every single day I was at the Lee County Commissioner meeting. It's a board of Republicans. Every single day, the producers would be like, what's the controversy? I'm like, well, today there is no controversy because we do really have a really good board of commissioners here in Lee County. I can't say the same for the rest of Florida. Yes, there's bad Republicans out there. It's not what I'm saying. But these Republicans that we have in Lee County, we're very blessed. I tried to tell that story. They wouldn't let me tell that story.
Mm.
They only wanted me to tell the story of the same 4 liberals that were there every single meeting, just crying about whatever it is. I'm sure you see.
The speakers.
It's like, could you imagine I covered Fort Myers Beach Council and I covered everything John Heim had to say at the meetings?
Yeah,
that's what they wanted.
Doing. So let's talk about the commission real quick. You got Mike Greenwell, who looks like he's clearly going to coast into that seat.
Oh, yeah.
Dad,
Who
turn
was
it off,
appointed by the governor like 2 weeks before the election, and Albion had a fit about that, kind of thought it was unfair. What did you think about it?
The governor appointing him?
Yeah.
He's doing. I would argue that if you think that's unfair, you think it's unfair for Donald Trump to appoint Supreme Court justices, even if it's his last year of presidency.
Gotcha. So
governor did exactly within his right what he's allowed to do. He did it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And he did it, I'm sure, on advice from people here in Lee County.
They
got it some tight connection. I tell her all the time what a machine it is down here.
It's not necessarily that it's a machine. It's that Governor DeSantis, no allegiances to anyone. He just cares about the truth and what's best for Florida.
Yeah.
But with that being said, he's going to come to trusted people he has in Lee County, vet everyone, vet every single candidate, see their past, see their qualifications, see how they would be the best moving forward, and then make his decision based off that.
Did the Republicans win back the Senate? They're trying to make it as hard as they can on themselves.
I do not have any faith in Republicans winning the Senate, but they will win the House, so it will be
even Steven.
Yeah.
Gridlock, which is fine.
Yes, I'm okay with that.
So school board, real quick. You are a big Jada Langford fan and not so much Denise Nystrom.
Nope.
And the governor, by the way, got involved in endorsing school candidates, which are nonpartisan. But I mean, clearly everybody's got some kind of swing, Republican or Democrat. So.
Well, here's the thing: the school board races have been nonpartisan forever, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that is why we're in the mess that we are in today. That's why we have school board people calling parents insurrectionists when they're simply just trying to speak at board meetings. That happened right here in Lee County with Betsy Vaughn. That's who Jada Langford Fleming. She's going for that seat. With Denise Nystrom, listen. Denise is a career bureaucrat from New York. She lived in New York and she worked in the liberal school district for years, like 2+ decades. And I'm from Long Island. I know what they're all about. They're all about big budget, big spending, higher taxes. And that's the system that Denise boasts herself about. And then all of a sudden she's in Florida 3 years ago and now is a conservative and pitching herself as a conservative. Give me a break. And not only that, but her group, we're going to get into what happened with the fake news trying to defame me. It's because of her group. They're just bad people. They came to my live audience show a week ago. 25 of them.
Which location was that at?
Rondeo's. I do a show right after the Lee County Trump Republican Club every meeting.
Gotcha.
Rondeo's Pizzeria, Sports Bar and Grill. Great place. Love it. Highly recommend. But I do the show, and there's about 20 of them. There's about 100 people there. It was 20 of them. All wearing Denise Nystrom shirts. Not only did they go to the front door and harass my 20-year-old assistant, but they also started denying entry to my fans. The people that they know support Jada.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't let them in my show. I had no idea I'm doing the show. And my assistant's just one little 20-year-old woman. She's trying to fight these people. And then the show goes on.
Did fisticuffs break out?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't mess with my assistant. She'll kick your ass.
Well, you just said.
But either way, they're harassed. It's grown. It's like 50-year-old people harassing a 20-year-old because she's just doing her job.
Mm-hmm.
So then we get on with the show, and 20 of them start screaming and heckling. Oh, why isn't Denise on the show? I'm like, first of all, I did an entire show for her. Despite me endorsing Jada, I gave her an entire show at Seat to Table, and I recused myself. And it's on my platforms. I didn't even do the
somebody
show.
else interviewed her.
Yeah, my reporter Lydia and Alfie was in it. Alfie endorses Denise. So I recused myself because I was like, it's fair. Yeah, hey, if Alfie supports you, I want you to have your chance to tell your story. I did that for her. And I only had Jada on for an entire show twice. So whatever, 2-1, who cares? And so I just kind of look at her. I look at the hecklers and I just go, and this set them off. It was, I thought it was funny. I said, it's my show. I will do what I want.
I hear you.
And it's I have no rules. I don't have to have Denise. There's no rules. I built this
not
platform.
The FCC, right?
Yeah. And if you don't like my show, go build your own show and go amp up Denise all you want. In fact, Denise does a show, I think, on Fort Myers Beach with Smokey Joe Nation or whatever, some smaller podcast. They do it every single week.
Really? Did you know that?
I don't know.
It's a small show, but either way,
must be really
what's the
small
problem
now. So, where are we going with that?
They were interrupting my show, and I told them, I said, it's my show. I'll do what I want.
Yeah.
They lost their mind. So what ended up happening, it was a domino effect. Now all her supporters, who are all just narcissistic robots, if you ask me, are going and pitching a fake news story to the local media. Everyone wants to do a fake hit news piece against Brennan Leslie and say he's being sued for fraud. They pitched it to Naples Daily News, NBC, wink, no one bit.
And this is the reason that you reached out. Let's back up a little bit because you got into it.
So you're not.
Wait.
No.
No.
Oh, we're getting there.
Go to the punchline. There's this thing called the Lehigh Gazette, which I don't know. Is it a printed thing or is it an online thing?
This stupid little blog post that all it does is meant to stir up drama. So they pitched the story to everyone. Lehigh Gazette was the only one that bit and did the story.
Okay, now if you back up a little bit, the only 2 times I've ever seen something about the Lehigh Gazette was when they did a hit piece on Cecil once.
Yep.
And then
they do it all the time.
Was it Brian or somebody else? There were 2 things in there where they were like, okay, and now I'm trying to figure out where this paper comes from. And
because they're with the Denise Nystrom group.
Oh, I see.
Anything Denise Nystrom and their group is upset about, Lehigh Gazette will go print it, even though it's not a real story. So
what's the connection there?
It's just that they all hate the same people. That's the connection.
And they started the paper.
They didn't start the paper. It's run by this guy named Robert Anderson.
Robert Anderson. So never heard of him. Does he have a podcast too?
Wait how interesting this gets. So
I just have to say, you guys make it sound though like you guys don't like to stir drama on your own.
Oh no, I'm here to stir drama.
Never.
All right. Well,
I am so insulted by that insinuation.
That he was just saying, well, they just want to stir drama, and I just want to go on record that can be said about everybody. At the table.
Oh no, this is good TV.
Just
no.
That we're.
It's personal now after what they did. So I'm like, I'm here.
Are your feelings hurt?
My feelings are not hurt, but you know what? I told I messaged an individual who harasses me all the time by the name of Chris Crowley. I messaged him and I said, hey, Crowley, just to let you know, I don't start wars. I end them.
Oh, yes.
Buckle up.
So wait, Chris Crowley is a well-known something or other, right?
Lunatic. He's a lunatic.
But he's in politics, though, right?
He's a failed state attorney candidate. He's a failed state committee man. He lost to Matt Caldwell for state committee man. And he's also been facing his own separate litigation for some campaign issues.
I still have no idea what state committee man is, other than
honestly,
is Matt Caldwell the state committee man?
He's the state committee man.
He was on the show and even ask him about that because he's the appraiser, right? He's the county appraiser. I see. All right, so you are a fraudster somehow.
Yeah. Okay, so what happened was they pitched the story. Lehigh Gazette wrote it because they hate me. They're trying to they can't attack Jada's credibility because she's honestly just one of the greatest people I've ever seen run for politics. And so they're going to try to attack me so that it makes her look bad. Lehigh Gazette wrote an article saying Brennan Leslie's being sued for fraud. Hold on. News to me. So I had friends and family texting me going, I'm praying for you. I can't believe you're about to get arrested. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Did you get served?
No, that's the thing. People are texting me saying I'm going to indict it. I'm like, what? And multiple people. So that's where I got annoyed because you're worrying my friends and family. So I find the articles that actually circulated a little bit, despite it being a tiny little stupid no-name blog. And he said what happened was in April, I had an advertiser called the Let's Go Brandon cryptocurrency, right? They paid Florida's Voice, my company, to do advertising.
Is this a real thing?
Yeah, it's a crypto coin. It's a funny thing. It's like Let's Go Brandon. Even remember when the Let's Go Brandon?
Yeah.
It's just funny and it's cool. They paid us a thing to advertise. So they're saying I got named in the Let's Go Brandon is getting sued for allegedly pumping and dumping, but
because this crypto thing isn't really a real thing.
Well, the value went really far up because NASCAR was going to work with them and
I remember that.
The Brandon Brown driver. But then NASCAR all of a sudden, 2 days after they announced the sponsorship, pulled out.
Right.
So that's a separate lawsuit. But because they pulled out, it crashed.
Okay.
So this guy some guy who bought Brandon coins like, oh, you pumped and dumped it. So they're trying to say I pumped and dumped it, but I never sold.
Like securities fraud or something?
You can't do that for a crypto coin. It's not security. So but they're saying that I made all this money off a crypto coin. I'm like, I've never sold one coin in my life.
Right.
The judge knows that. Dropped me from the lawsuit back in May
because you were only reading an ad.
I'm just an advertiser.
Right. And that, if you relate that to kind of like radio, sometimes you got these weekend radio shows where these financial advisors give advice and then they turn out to be frauds. The radio stations are never held liable because they're buying time on the radio station. So it sounds like the same thing to me.
I got dropped from the lawsuit in May, and then the entire lawsuit actually got dropped in July.
I see.
And if you go look at the dismissal, they still have a chance to appeal, but I haven't heard of an appeal, and I'm pretty sure the deadline's passed, so I think it's the end. I don't know. I'll update you when I hear more about it.
Okay.
But if you go and look at the dismissal, I'm not even a named defendant. But of course, Lehigh Gazette didn't share that. They only shared the original paperwork from April, didn't share the second amended complaint where I was dropped.
Yeah.
And passed it off as if I'm actually being sued right now.
So did you ask for a retraction from the blog?
Yeah, they ignore me.
Yeah.
They don't care.
So why don't you file a defamation lawsuit against them?
A lot of people are asking me that question. This is what he does.
We know a real good lawyer that you could try that with.
Media law is like the only part law that I am just so good at, and I know inside and out. And the fact is, he listed it as an editorial, so it's an opinion piece. I'm a public figure.
Yeah.
So it's now, if I want to sue for defamation, I have to prove damages as a public figure, and that's really hard to do in a defamation case. For someone who's private, you don't need to prove damages.
Right.
You can just sue for defamation.
However, it would be nice to see him spend money on an attorney if you didn't have to spend any. Then it would be worth it.
Kim, you want to hear the ironic part of this whole entire story?
I'm not sure.
I love when me and Ed, it's always me and Ed. We're always going back and forth, and Kim's just taking it all in.
Yeah.
I'm bringing
Especially
you in
right
here.
now.
I want to bring you in. The guy, Robert Anderson, who wrote this article
Yeah.
saying I'm a fraudster, has actually been convicted of schemes of defrauding people.
Come on.
Actually convicted.
Mic drop.
Do you want to drop the mic now?
Yeah, that's it.
What
See
was
you
he?
guys.
What was he convicted of? Frauding people of defrauding?
Schemes of defrauding. I forget off the top of my head. I forget the exact specifics, but he's actually served. He's actually been convicted. He's a convicted felon. And I find it funny that these people, Denise Nystrom and her clan, are going to an actual felon to attack me and then pass it off as real news.
Why is the school board so dysfunctional?
Because it's all about egos, and that's what I see in Denise. That's why I'm such a proponent for Jada. She has no ego to her. She's doing it just because she loves the kids and loves this county. She's grown up here. She's from here. Denise is not. She has no ties here. But Denise is all about, I've been to every single meeting. I know everything. Jada knows nothing. I'm the best. I'm the greatest.
Does she say it like that, or with a
literally
female
says it
kind
like
of
that.
voice?
With
Now,
a little more girly voice.
how
yes.
do you guys how do you square that you're in favor of Jada and Alfie, who you guys are close, is in favor of Denise? Why is he in favor of Denise?
When he was debating between the two of them in the beginning, it was actually, it wasn't as clear cut as everyone wants to think it was, because he met Jada before Denise declared, and he was considering Jada, but then Denise threw herself in. I think she's got personal ties to him. I don't know. But when me and Alfie,
That's a question he would have to
Why do you
answer
interrupt? He was on a
himself.
roll there.
well, me and Alfie, we looked at each other. I was like, may the best man win. Shook hands.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I wasn't really attacking Denise at all. I'm still not attacking. I just report facts about her. But she started with this nonsense. Now this fake news piece is going around tarnishing my name. So now gloves are off.
Yeah. Let's talk about anything else on that, or are we good? You got everything?
So basically, what's important for your viewers to know, I just wanted to mention,
Yeah.
Denise versus Jada race is District 6. That's county-wide. So every single
That's
person
right.
in Fort Myers Beach can vote for that race. And it's going to be really interesting to see what ends up happening. And you know what?
I did vote for Jada. Who did you vote for?
I'm not saying.
Ooh.
I voted for.
Well, you
so
know what's
it's a
even more-
runoff now, right?
Well,
She's
and
either-
I.
Okay, I didn't
Is she gonna say?
understand.
You're gonna say?
Go ahead.
No.
She's
No,
a
I don't-
Denise fan.
I don't get. Well, I don't. Go ahead.
See, I won't
What
ever.
kind of sense was
the
that?
difference between me and Denise, I won't shun her for voting for Denise or shun any of her voters for
Yes.
voting for them.
Thank you for not shunning
she'll
her.
shun anyone that votes for Jada. How dare you? You know nothing. That's the ego narcissist that I don't like, and I don't want that on the board. That's what we have right now with our current school board members. It has nothing to do with right or left. It has to do with big egos on the board.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you and I agree on much, but I think. Let me see if you agree with this. That when somebody's running for whatever it is, that it really would just be better to point out why you're the best person.
I agree 100%.
For the position rather than run the other person up the flagpole. People who are voting can do their due diligence and find out. It's not a good look. And that for me, that turns me off.
You know why it's such a great point? You know who does that? She deserves another bell ring. You know who's
Look at you and I found common ground on something.
you're
I'm
making me sick,
Yes,
by the way.
you're setting me up here. You just tossed me a lob down the middle, hit out the
All
park.
right.
Denise Nystrom constantly. If you go look at Denise's social media. Go look at Jada's social
I have
media.
to
Who's
now.
talking about the other opponent? It's Denise slamming her opponent all the time, and Jada. It's just her keeping her head down and working.
Yeah.
I will take a look at that.
I voted for
Please do.
Jada only because
take
I
a look at
recognized
that.
her name. I didn't really do enough research on.
You
Now,
know,
what I don't
That's,
understand
that's
about
another good point.
I know more, and if I didn't do enough research, a
know.
lot of people probably
Right.
didn't do enough research because the thing is, you hear all these ads and you get 50 flyers in the mail the week before the thing, and you're like, nobody's reading those flyers. It's like you're just trying to. I don't know how you can figure out so many races if you're not really into the politics, but you really should be, especially if you have kids. But my point with the nonpartisan thing is I couldn't really figure out, because I'm dumb, like you had several members
ring the bell?
running. You had several members running for the school board, and then now there's two. It's nonpartisan, but now there's two again running in the general election.
I can explain.
What? How does that work? Like,
So right now, not in the future, I do believe that they're going to become partisan races and there'll be more of a normal election. But right now, it's a nonpartisan race. So that means 10 people can say, I'm running in the primary for School Board District 6. The two top vote getters
Advance.
regardless of their party
or
affiliation.
regardless
Yeah.
of the percentage of voters they
Now,
get.
this is the only caveat where Armor Persons, who beat Gwyn Gittins,
Yeah.
he won outright, and he doesn't have a general election because he got 50% of the vote plus one. You get if anyone, if 10 people run, someone gets 50% plus one vote, it's over.
So, like in the judges' race,
Yep.
with Lindsay Garza, and I don't remember the judge's name, but
incumbent.
anyway,
incumbent.
so she won.
Yep.
And so she's automatically the
Yep,
judge.
because there's only two people
There's
in that
only two
race, so
people
someone
in
has
that.
to get 50.
Oh,
unless
so
they
she-
get the exact same amount of votes, which will
Right.
never actually happen. But
So,
she got 50%
See,
plus one.
That's the thing that's confusing. In the school board, if you get 50%, you're in. But if you get 30 and 30, you're going to run off.
Yep.
If there's
So
more
how many
people,
votes? What was the percentage of Lindsay's vote?
Lindsay got about 55%.
Oh,
of the
she
vote.
got over 50.
Yeah, and then
What
with
if she
Jada
got-
and Denise, Jada got like 39, Denise got like 35.
Okay, so that's going to be a close race.
Yeah, it was separated by
I think it
about
was
4,000
36,
votes.
but-
Wow.
It was 4,000 votes. I forget the percentage points.
yeah.
So yeah, well, are they going to do debates, like one-on-one debates?
Whoever does there's all these local clubs do a ton of forums and whatnot, and I'm sure there's going to be
Okay,
something. I just
okay.
don't know what's on the
Gotcha.
books yet.
So January 6th,
Oh, jeez.
Brendan was at January. You were there.
Yeah.
Tell us what you saw from the time it started to the time you went in the building.
Did you ever get interviewed about it? Like from
from the FBI?
yeah.
FBI asked about my video. They know the FBI knew Brendan's a reporter. They knew exactly that I did nothing wrong, and they reached out about my video. And I'm like, hey, my video are up there. It's like, if you're gonna take it, take it. I don't know. It's up to you. So we talked about it, and then
And what you had up there was all you had? Like they didn't come and say, hey.
yeah, no. And here's the thing about the FBI. I had about like 300 people locally from the Democrats calling the FBI and saying I'm rioting at the Capitol. That
I
never
see.
happened. It was so stupid. So I cleared the air with the FBI on that one. And they told me straight to their face, and I haven't heard from them in over 2 years. They're like, or 2 years since the January 6th. And they were like,
You don't want that's a good thing.
yeah, oh no.
Yeah.
And they told me, but when I met with them in January, when they were asking about my video, I was like, they're like, you're not being investigated. We just want to know about the video and who you think you might have saw, stuff like that. Typical questions. So whatever. That was 2 years ago. And what I saw was a 750,000 Trump supporters get really, really excited to see President Trump speak. And then a small little clan of people decided to taint that entire day.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. Is it an insurrection? Absolutely not. The left wants to say, oh, the democracy almost fell. Even if those idiots took over the building, the Capitol building, democracy wasn't going to fall. They would have
Right.
just held hostage to an inanimate object. So democracy didn't almost fall. It was a small group of idiots that were acting out, and those people, anyone who was violent, should be held accountable. Where I'm having a problem is the people that are just like, oh, look, a Capitol building, let me just walk around. Those people are being treated like they're domestic terrorists. They were just idiots, shouldn't have walked in there.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be going to prison for months and months and months held in solitary confinement just because they were dumb. But if you were violent, that's a whole separate thing.
Yeah.
But we don't have a fair justice system.
Gotcha. So
On either side of that.
Either side.
right, it's totally down the middle. I mean, it's crazy how the country is torn apart.
Yep.
We were talking about. I do want to ask you real quick, and you can bug out on this question because I know you don't want to. The whole Ben Shapiro thing. Have you been? Have you watched what happened to Ben Shapiro?
When he went to the podcast convention.
Yes, and obviously I'm into all that and my day job too. And so Ben Shapiro walks into Podcast Movement in Dallas because they sold him a booth for $10,000, and he owns the Daily Wire company. He goes in for a few minutes, takes some pictures with fans, And then the organization that put on the event apologized for him being there because there was at least one person of, I don't know, LGBT in that organization.
Probably had blue hair.
That was offended by his presence. And
I wish I had that power.
They were the person. I'm not laughing, but the thing is, I don't want to harp on the podcast movement thing, but Ben Shapiro's opinion on things is you can't change your gender. He doesn't have an argument with if you have a problem with being born a man and you want to be a woman, you go through that phase. That's fine with him. Yeah. That's fine with me. That's fine with people.
Adults
that's
can
your
do whatever
choice.
they want.
Right.
Adults,
do whatever you
keyword.
want. But his thing is you cannot change your gender. And that's what tees people off in that space.
You can't change your gender. He's right. But you know what's funny about all that? You get mad at Ben Shapiro being there just for simply existing. If I'm a podcaster there, I'm going, even if I'm like the biggest radical leftist, I'm going to Ben. I'm like, hey, man, how the hell did you build your empire off podcasting?
Right. 30 million listeners a month.
How do I get rich like you? That's what the question should be. But people are just need to be mad about everything. Just same with the garbage of me supporting Jada. People hate my guts just because I picked a candidate, not because I did anything to them. Everyone just wants to be mad just to be mad, and that's simply what this situation is.
Got you. What question do you have for Brendan while we have him? I mean, this is a rarity for us having such a star here, a local star on our show.
just another guy.
I'm here to try, and moderate and keep him in check.
Keep who in check? Me or him?
Him.
So give us kind of a rundown of what you got lined up coming up in the next few weeks.
So we're going to be we got the Patriot Talk Show on Tuesday at Seat at Table, and then the following Tuesday will be our 9/11 Remembrance Show at Seat at Table.
Okay.
I'm doing a show at the Burnt Store Republican Club. I'll be interviewing Ag Commissioner Republican nominee Wilton Simpson. That's on September 7th. All are welcome to the REC meeting in Burnt Store. I'll also be doing I'm speaking at the Charlotte County Trump Republican Club in mid-September, and I'm also going up to Jacksonville to do some interview. And then, of course, rounded out Rondeo's. I'm back on the third Wednesday in Fort Myers.
Where's Rondeo's again?
It's right off of it's on McGregor, kind of like on your way to the beach. It's South Fort Myers.
Okay. Now, what was I going to ask you? I was just going to ask you something.
Crap.
I totally forgot what I was going to ask you. You just said something, and it was a brilliant question. What was it, dear? God dang it.
I was talking about all my shows. I'm going to Jacksonville, Burnt Store, Charlotte County.
Oh, I know what it was.
I'm getting out of the way.
What is your revenue now? Your company revenue?
Oh, my revenue?
Yeah.
Let's just say I make enough money to pay all my employees what they deserve.
Okay. And when we first started doing our show together, you weren't making anything.
I was making. I just still
you
feel
had
like
a job.
I'm making
you
no
had
money.
a day job.
Yeah. Everyone, Chris Crowley and the crazies all want to say, "Oh, Brendan is scamming everyone. He's got a fancy sports car." So about a year ago, I bought myself a nice car because I was like, I'm making extra money. It was before I hired all my employees. Payroll tax is no joke. I pay $2,000 in payroll taxes every other week. It's insane.
I know. I pay her a lot of
so I regret
taxes.
buying the car a year ago before I hired all the employees, but I was making extra money and I was like, oh, let me treat myself. I deserve this. I worked really hard.
What'd you buy?
I bought an Alfa Romeo Giulia for $39,000. So apparently my $39,000 car is now this fancy sports car and I'm worth millions and I still owe $31,000 on it. So I don't know.
Did you have to pay above the sticker price?
No, I got it right before all those prices.
Right before that went up.
I'm thankful for that. I would have not bought that car if it's in today's market. Not
you
one
should
bit.
sell it now.
I actually was considering that. I'm pretty sure I can get
bike around.
I can probably get a few grand more than what.
Then you could get an electric car because that seems right up your alley.
I would only drive a Tesla, and I'm not ready to do that. I would go get a big truck and guzzle as much gas as possible.
Right. Well, thank you so much.
Well, then you're going to be paying a lot of money.
That's okay, as long as everyone hates me for my existence and me driving it.
I don't hate you.
No, not you. The radicals.
Dude, I like your skips there. What do you got there?
No bull.
What are they?
No bulls.
$39,000 for those sneakers or something. They look.
These
expensive.
shoes are expensive, but I bought them a year and a half ago, and they still look brand new.
Right.
And I wear them all the time.
Thanks
Aren't
for
you
coming.
hot in the jeans?
No, you know what?
Do you ever wear shorts?
To the beach.
Ed
next
might take
time.
this offensively, but men don't wear shorts.
Oh,
so
I see.
I have grown to not worry about the heat, and I wear pants everywhere.
Men don't wear
a lot of men around.
You know what? You're on the beach. I'm going to say Ed is going to take a dip in the ocean after, so he's allowed to wear them.
Yes.
So the only times men are allowed to wear shorts is at the gym, on the boat, outside, things like that.
Well, thank you so much for coming down, Brendan. Keep us posted on what's going on with your friends at the Lehigh Gazette. Maybe I'll try and invite him on. See how that goes.
Oh, that would be wild. I'm sure you'll get hit up by Denise and Chris
Yeah.
Crowley. Don't have Chris
We love
Crowley
having
on. He will
people on.
obsess you.
All right, Brendan Leslie, everybody, please tune in to his. Tell everybody where they can find your show. And
Just head over to our website. It's the easiest way. Florida's Voice. That's flvoicenews.com.
And your website is up and working?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
We put, your website's down. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing about 80
Working
reports
on
a
it.
week. It's great.
Thanks, Brendan. Thanks for coming
Thanks.
down. All right, everybody. Thank you so much to Brendan and our guests. And before we get to our final segment where we talk about the plaque, I need to tell you about beach pottery, and then we'll come back for this. So, beach pottery,
So, you know.
I'm taking your ad away from you, is located at 17980 San Carlos Boulevard on Fort Myers, but not on Fort Myers Beach. It's before you get to Fort Myers Beach. On the right-hand side, right when you make that turn, they have thousands and thousands and thousands of plants and pots and all kinds of stuff. And over an acre of property, 8,000 of those things from Vietnam and Mexico. I especially like the ones from Vietnam. They're really much better than made in China. And I don't think they have any pots from China there, which is nice. So check them out and give them a call if you want to schedule an appointment to, hey, I'm coming down. I'd like a tour of these pots. Can you pen me in? 437-4211, 437-4211.
And let us not forget Fort Myers Tiki Tours. Go out for a relaxing 90-minute tour along the Intercoastal in the Estero Bay Preserve. You're going to go nice and slow. You're not going to disturb any manatees. You might see some if you're lucky. You might see a turtle. Maybe there's one of those out there. They provide the captain and the boat and the cooler and the ice. I believe they bring you the ice.
Thank you,
and
Georgia.
you bring everything else. You bring yourself, your friends, your family, co-workers. You could bring strangers. You can bring him. You can bring me. We'll go with you. You and 5 of your friends can go out there. Jeez. Give them a call at 239-887-0042. Do not bring him if he's going to do that weird thing that he's doing right now. They're located over at Salty Sam's Marina, and you can find them at FortMyersTikiTours.com. They're great folks, have entertaining captains. You'll just have a lovely, lovely time. So please head on over there and get out on this super cute tiki boat.
Before we get to our final segment of the, by the way, we're going to try something, everybody. Friday nights at 5, we're going to try something where we do a little show from the house. See, I'm building a little studio at the house. It's going to look really cool. And we're going to do this show where we talk about things. And Kim has a glass of wine. And so she really speaks her mind a little bit more than she usually does. So Friday at 5, get ready for show number 2 right here on the Facebook if we don't get blocked out. And the website will be back up and running and all that. So before we get to talking about
We've
the plaque
talked
and
about
things,
it. Oh,
no,
that.
I did want to also mention that something that you're going to be attending on Tuesday night is the grand opening of the new State Insurance USA location, which they're going to have a party. They have, food, margaritas, raffles, music. The ribbon cutting is at 5 o'clock, and that's going to be at the new location of State Insurance, which is on Lover's Lane.
Nice. That's
So,
a great address to have.
That's right. There's that grand opening on Tuesday. October 1st is the grand reopening of the Whale. And we're going to have the chef from the Whale on next week. Look at that. Just happened just like that.
They did a contest to name the whale. And if somebody
Oh, they
knows
did?
what they chose,
I didn't know
would like
that.
to know.
If anybody knows the name of the whale, please type it in the chat box. We don't have any prizes for you as a result of that because we gave all the free beer to Steve last weekend. But
Because you're horrible at that. We just can't do giveaways because you can't keep track of who
I know.
wins.
October 1st is the grand reopening. Next week, we're going to have the chef on from the Whale. So
Is
tune
he
in for
bringing
that.
food?
I hope he does bring food. And then the other ribbon cutting is going to be Tuesday at 9. Is it 9 o'clock or 9:30? It's early in the morning at Bayside Park. And Bayside Park, we went down there and looked at it today before the parking lot opened. And folks, the park looks fabulous. I mean, if you didn't get a chance to watch the video that I did this morning before the show, I did it down Old San Carlos for a change. We saw the new restaurant that opened up on the left-hand side. I've already forgotten the name, but where Ocean Boulevard Bar and Tavern. They're
at
brand
me.
new. They open at 11 o'clock. They opened at 5 o'clock for the soft opening on Thursday, but they open every day at 11. And so check those guys out if you can. And then Wahoo Willie's is coming along. And if you watch the video, you'll see they have like a planned opening for October 1st too. And that's right on the sidewalk. The Tiki Bar is right on the sidewalk. So it's going to be perfect for people watching, which everyone loves to do.
You could take a tiki boat ride and then go
to
that
the Tiki
place.
Bar.
Yeah,
Of course, it's right next to Snug Harbor, Nervous Nellies, and the park. We went and saw the park, and the park looks fabulous.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to what it was before, with just a gazebo and the broken fountain, it looks great. They got a place where people can sit out on the artificial grass. They have, it looks like bike racks. They have some benches, and they have a stage back toward the water, which, I mean, you can just imagine like a late afternoon, evening band playing over there. And you could see the water behind it. I know the sun doesn't set over there, but still, it's just a great location. Does it set over there?
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. It's 225 feet away.
It is
to the left. But it's just a great location over there. So I love the way the park came out. I love
all right,
the fact
get
that
to
it's
it.
open.
You're dragging
But,
it
you know,
out.
and you all participated in our shenanigans with this plaque over the last
10:40.
few
Come on,
days.
move along.
And my only thing about the plaque is there's 3 names on the plaque, and I know you're going to say it's so small you can't see it so small. It's right at the entrance of the park. But my thing about the plaque was there are 3 names on the plaque that didn't even want the park. They wanted a big giant building.
Don't filibuster me.
Go ahead.
I just want to say that regardless of how I feel about anything else, that when you posted it on Facebook, the sign looked so big. The plaque looked so big.
Yeah.
And it's tiny.
It's not tiny.
And how much was it? Answer that question.
That's right. It was $800.
Yeah, because it's small.
That plaque was $800. But my point is, and look, I don't really care. You want to leave your name on that because you think that your name needs to be inscribed in something for now until the end of time, go right ahead. If that's what you need to do to be an elected official, that's fine. I don't really care. But the point was,
I beg to differ.
That wouldn't be a park if it wasn't for the people that live around that area, the local businesses who objected to that 3-story skyscraper that they were trying to put in for the mooring field. And I have no problem with the mooring field people, but it would have totally blocked the view.
Agreed.
There would be no park. It would just be one giant building that people use to go to the bathroom.
Well, it got remedied, and now it's a park.
Right. Now it's a park. It looks fabulous. But don't pretend like you really wanted it there by putting your name on it. You didn't. You wanted a big building there. And so I came up with an alternative, dear, because I like to do more than just complain.
I have no idea.
Look at that.
About this.
That I would say that our folks that are watching the show would even love to contribute to something like that. It says Bayside Park, Fort Myers Beach, dedicated to the brave men and women who protect America and ask for nothing in return. I created that this morning, by the way, while I was sitting here. Did you steal it
from somebody?
I didn't steal it. No, I created it using some art program.
Okay.
But there you go. There's no memorial out there yet because that kind of fell through the cracks. But I mean,
no, I think they have to wait till everything gets.
No. Somebody needs to pick up the ball on that and run with it because it kind of fell through the cracks. But anyway, who cares if you have your name on there? It's a nice park. They did a great job. It's going to be used by a lot of people. That looks wonderful. The new sign that's finally back up looks wonderful. So, I mean, I'm not trying to be critical of the whole thing. The fact that you install a sign and then a week later it falls over. It's just like, how does this stuff happen? It's like pennies from heaven for me.
That was really unfortunate.
Yeah.
That was unfortunate.
All right. Did we cover everything before we let everybody go? I think we did. I have nothing else going on here except for I need to go home and work on the website. So thank you, dear, for showing up today. Thanks to Brendan and
you're still going to need somebody on the 24th.
Oh, we're going to need a co-host on the 24th because you're going out of town.
Whatever that weekend is. Yeah.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Austin, Texas.
Oh, that's why you've been doing all this exercising and running and getting in shape and the whole thing because you're going to see your friends.
I'm going to see some friends from high school. We have not seen each other in forever, and I'm so excited.
Well, you have a great time.
I'll hold down the fort
here somehow.
Yes.
All right, everybody. We will see you Friday night, Tuesday at the tree lighting, at the ribbon cutting at Bayside Park. I don't know where that came from. And you'll see everybody Tuesday night at the grand opening of State Insurance. You didn't know you were going there, did you? You can go to that one. That's a nighttime thing. I'll be in bed by then.
Gail, I like this one.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And thank you for watching our video earlier on today. And, of course, you can donate to the show by buying us a coffee. Let me see if I can get that banner
Thanks
up here.
to all the guests. And, again, a wonderful happy anniversary
Yes,
to Bernard and his wife.
You can just copy and paste that right there if you like the show. And if not, if you didn't like it, screw you. All right, say it with me, everybody.
We'll buy you a cup of coffee.
Say it with me. Bye-bye.